adult, I was afraid to go to sleep because I was afraid of this stuff. And I was like, I need to do something about this. So it sent me down this rabbit hole, and I learned that, I discovered like Reiki energy healing and the lifestyle I was living with drugs and alcohol at the time that I turned to after my mother passed away. It was opening up all these portals. It was like basically a chink in my armor where these entities could come in and loose harvest
Yeah.
and feed off of me. And it was quite literally impacting my 3D reality. So I'm like, this isn't just some random thing. There's a connection here, and I have to figure it out. So I went, like, it was a mission now. Like, what is this stuff? And then I figured out ways to, once I learned how to identify them in the dream, then they get clever and they try a new tactic. And it was this whole like adapt and overcome for both of us. And it was like they would try new things, I would try new things. And it was quite literally dream warfare. And there's an actual document from the CIA called Dream Warfare, where they can send people after you in your dreams to attempt to assassinate you. Not that they could actually do it, but there's a document where they have explored that.
No, yeah, I mean that's you're dead on right there. I never thought of it as a loosh form. And Enigmites, we've talked about this before on the channel before. Loosh is fear food basically that comes out of your body that spiritual beings or sometimes extraterrestrial beings are rumored to or said to have feed on us, right? And no, that's actually fascinating, man. I mean, that's a really good point. It said something in there too also that kind of that I've had a theory on for a while, especially drugs and especially psychedelic drugs. I think, mushrooms or, LSD or things like that somehow lower the chemical barriers or the natural barriers in our body that protect us from spiritual attacks, man. Spiritual attacks. I mean, any religion that you can be, I'm a Christian, but any religion that you could possibly be, they'll always tell you that there's a spirit war. We don't wrestle against the flesh. We wrestle against, spirits and principalities, right? And so, and it shocks me too that, first of all, man, good job on, manning up, dude, because that's one hell of a fight you had to go through right there, man. And, sorry.
Well, real quick, I mean, that's like in a nutshell. It gets a lot more detailed than that. I go into all that detail in my book on like what it actually looked like and like what I was dealing with and how I overcame it and stuff. But I skipped through a lot because it's a long,
don't
it's
give
a
your whole
long
book
story.
away now.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm just saying I skipped through a lot when I was talking to you.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, I mean, it was hard, but it was also, I looked at it as like training in a way because it was just only making me stronger. And then I was also able to see the lengths that they'll go to and that they're even capable of doing stuff like this. And I'm like, wow, this like reality isn't what I thought it was. And I had to really go back to the drawing board and figure out what is this place, this planet? What is this realm? What's going on here and why? And I mean, I think that's what we're all trying to figure out, but it leads to so many things and unlocks so many new mysteries. And, you start scratching your head. You're like, what the hell is is this place?
Yeah. So again, like I have two rules about my show, man. Basically, is when people come on, always respectful, listen to their stories, with open minds, and at a baseline, we have to come to an agreement that something happened. For example, it could be A, B, C, or D, but you can never deny that experience or that story happened. And one of the founding things that I have reoccurring theme across all of this stuff is that we do not 100% do not live in the world we think we do. This place that we're in, man, is we either have some type of cosmic amnesia or we have purposely been dumbed down to the point where we're, cattle. And that seems to be, no matter what conspiracy, the only difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth is like 6 months, by the way, if you haven't figured that out right now, man, Enigmites. So call it whatever you want to call it. Matter of fact, the word conspiracy theory was made up by one of the intelligence agencies to make people think that was it, man. So the word itself has a negative, but it's been used against them.
Yeah.
The world that we live in is much, much, much more grander, much more complex, much more. I'd even say, I mean, like, it's terrifying, but it's also kind of special. It's not just,
Yeah.
a doom and gloom, get up, work, you die. That's not that situation right there. And I think that, and you know all the conspiracy theories, man. Whatever route you want to go with, people talk about. There is we'll use the word awakening or whatever. Put that on there on what you want to do. Rediscovering of past knowledge, just whatever. Something's going on, man, and it's at this point, bro. Would you agree, Tyler? It's almost like undeniable that something's going on.
Yeah, 100%. And I think a lot of people are tapping into that. We've been called crazy for so long, but now,
Right.
in a lot of cases, people are being forced to take it serious because it's getting real for them.
Yeah.
And it looks different for everybody, and it's all specific to the individual on whatever lessons they have to learn and whatever they signed up to do, and however that looks. I mean, you can speculate all day, but the bottom line is, as like you said, it's not what we think it is, and something's happening. And this reality is far more. It's a multidimensional reality, in my opinion,
100%.
and that's where quantum mechanics comes in. I write a lot about this in my book about parallel realities, and I don't know. We can get into that stuff if you want, but there's a science to quantum physics actually explains parallel realities and the many worlds interpretation and superposition, which means like an infinite amount of worlds and possibilities existing simultaneously. And then single position, or the collapse of the wave function. That means that it's basically shifting from superposition, where all of these infinite possibilities are actually happening simultaneously, down to a single position, which is created by the observer. It's the reality created by you and me, by our own beliefs. And then our collective beliefs create a consensus reality. And then if enough people believe in a singular thing, it will manifest into a physical reality that we all observe. There's quantum physics, quantum mechanics out there that explain all this. Regular physics is very clunky. It tells you can't reach the speed of light, but you have to do what Tesla was doing. You have to apply the ether and bring in, you got to bring in mathematics that, and I think we're intentionally left out of the textbooks to keep us hitting a dead end. I think it was all done intentionally by whoever created this whole game, whatever it is. But I feel like we're getting into this quantum realm now, even the AI, these apps and all this stuff. It's talking about quantum. It's tapping into the quantum, which for the longest time we called the Akashic records, where all this information was stored in this etheric field. And I think this is where some of these AIs are tapping into, and they can appear godlike.
Subscribe now and turn on the notifications to join us on this extraordinary journey into the unknown.